Anyway, Madam Web.
You went on opening night, though, eh?
Yeah. I listen.
Why?
I think we all knew I didn't have Valentine's Day plans.
Kelsey.
So, I knew that it was going to be bad, and I wanted that experience for myself, and I received it. I got it.
Okay, so what is Madam Web even about?
You know, I watched the movie. Not sure I can really tell you.
We know it's based on a comic.
It is. It's based on a comic book about Madam Web is like connected to all the spider people.
Okay.
And she like kind of like knows what they're going to do in their lives.
Right.
And this is like the origin story of Madam Web.
Okay.
Did you write a review on Letterboxd?
I did.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, I'll sum it up because there's it's really long.
No, I want to hear the whole thing.
I'll hear the
Okay,
whole
there
thing.
is.
I
I
do
do
too.
have to.
We got
I
nothing
have
but
to
time.
omit a line because it does. I do say a very bad word not meant for Twitch.
Which
What's
one?
the word?
Starts with a C.
Does
Oh,
it end
yeah,
Does it
don't
end
do
with
that
a T?
one.
Yep, ends with a T.
That's okay.
Wow.
It's about Emma Roberts,
All right.
Okay.
and like positively.
I think
Sorry.
you can say cat.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it.
Yes.
Okay, I said. Ready?
Oh,
Ready.
Call an ambulance, but not for Madam Web. This is some of the worst ADR I've ever seen in a film, paired with CGI so bad, I can't even blame the artists because they must have just been trying to match whatever was very unclearly written.
Whoa.
This movie takes place in 2003, but the writer must have been born in 2004 because it seems like they just Googled popular in 2003, threw a poster of Beyonce's Dangerously in Love, and played Toxic during a fight scene, which honestly might be one of the best parts of the movie. I also really enjoyed the part where the writer must have just Googled, were cell phones in 2003? And got the response, yes, but they weren't common.
Okay.
This movie has a cast to work with, and it just doesn't. Dakota Johnson, I don't want to be your enemy, but right now I can't be your friend. Thank you for making me so confident that if I had famous parents, even I could play a superhero. Sydney Sweeney has dealt a terrible hand with one of the worst written characters in the script, and I just can't look at her in this and believe she's a teenager. I believe she's a teenager in Euphoria more. Celeste O'Connor is fine, but the only person who showed up on set to, in all caps, work was Isabella Merced.
My girl.
Isabella Merced.
Even Adam Scott just showed up to get paid. Zosia Mammoth is one of my favorite actresses. I find her so cool and fascinating, and they literally sit her behind a desk the entire movie. She has no personality, no goal. She just types things in and tells the bad guy. The bad guy is so one-dimensional, it feels like they asked AI to write a villain. Worst of all, they committed the biggest crime in filmmaking. They uncatified Emma Roberts. I have more questions than answers, but to be honest, I couldn't care to have them answered. At the end of the day, I guess I could just go to Peru and figure it all out, which is a plot line. This has one of the worst endings of all time, so I won't even bother putting a spoiler warning to tell you. The S stands for Pepsi Cola, which if you watch the trailer, you would understand.
What does that even mean, Pepsi Cola? Why is that in there? Why is there a commercial
There's
like that?
she gets flashes of everything that is going to happen in her life, and there's a big S sign, and everyone's like, oh my God, what does the S mean? Whatever. And the S means Pepsi Cola.
That's how the movie ends? By revealing that it's a Pepsi?
No, it's just everyone thought that it had this big significance, and it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it now.
Honestly,
To be honest, I think people should watch it because I think it puts other movies into perspective.
Honestly, that's what I've heard is it's so bad, it's kind of worth seeing.
It's almost going to be like a cult classic because it's so bad.
Yeah, I think what is it sitting at 14% on Rotten Tomatoes now at this
Yeah.
point? 14?
Do you think all these, because they got a lot of big names in this movie, do you think they all knew this script was terrible when they write it, or did something go wrong while making it?
well, I also think it's a part of the Spider-Man universe, so a lot of people are going to sign up to be a part of that.
And I think that also Marvel is really quiet when it comes to scripts. So a lot of times when actors are auditioning for things, they don't even know what they're auditioning for. They just know that it's something in a Marvel something, super quiet. They don't even read the script when they're auditioning for it. They just get a scene and have to determine based on that. So they might have already been kind of clocked in for millions of dollars and read the script and were like, yikes. Because it is there have been interviews with Dakota Johnson where people are like, I think she was trying to tell us that it was bad.
She, in these interviews, Dakota Johnson very clearly hates that she's doing anything for this movie.
Really?
It's so obvious.
I would love to watch.
What is she saying?
I saw one where they were like, yeah, so they did some rewrites and stuff during, and like how much of that was part of the plan or whatever. And she's like, I don't know any of it. I don't know. I don't know. She's so clearly over it.
She's just like, I'm here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, but it's also she also comes off like she's over it a lot. So
Yeah.
It's hard to tell
Yeah, that
if
is
she's really over
personality.
it.
I think that's something that does come with being a nepo child, as like great wealth and riches have been the standard, and she doesn't need to do any of this.
Yeah,
Like, think about that. Like,
and so she's just choosing the worst
But-
projects for fun.
everything's a favor. I feel like that's how she looks at it. Like, I'm doing you
Yeah.
a favor.
You think?
I think it's giving.
Okay, it's giving what?
It's giving. I don't know, man. I don't know. Not all nepo kids are the same, you know.
True
Not
that.
everybody's the same.
I love my neps.
Yeah, Dan is a huge nepo supporter.
I just
I
have
am too.
I have
I've-
a large collection of them in my life.
I have friends that are nepo babies.
I love my nepos.
But there is something, right? Like when you have so much money and so much security, like people work and do a good job because like doing a good job is connected to stability and consistency and
Yeah.
keeping a job, you know? I don't know. There has to be something. Like some psychologists have to have some sort of studies or some understanding of like what comes with having such intense, deep amount of security.
I'd love to try that.
But then everybody's different, right? Like there's some nepo babies that all they do is want to prove themselves, right? Like all they do is
Yeah.
work to just outshine their parents or create their own shine. It's
And we've met a
interesting.
number of those.
A ton, dude. Some of my best friends are those people. You know? It's interesting.
I think people hate on nepo babies though.
They do for
Very,
no
it's,
reason.
it's kind of like saying that you don't like Nickelback,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they did fall into that category.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, they were just born into it, and I would probably do the same thing,
Nobody chose to be here or who
Yeah.
our family are.
100%.